selection is 15, 13, 16, and we must remember that even second place maybe a Robert Hurley, who's actually moved up into second, who's only swum this distance once before. If he can qualify, he's got time to work on it as well.
Exactly right, and more experience. He's only raced it once before. I would like to try and bring Dennis Cottrell back in here if I can, and ask you, Dennis, whether or not you think we're about to see a sub-15-minute swim here.
Well, no, after this 100, Nick, he's done a really good job. He's opened up a 14-second gap. The last 300, he's taken 2 seconds per 100 off him. Robbie Hurley's moving back on now, but they can never pull that back. And it was a good observation when you said a little bit of splash. He's throwing the arms over, but it's still an efficient stroke.
OK, that was 1:00.5. Now, we've made Mark Howard do a little bit of work during this longest event, and he's gone and he's standing next to Michael Bowl, who is the coach of Ryan Napoleon. Over to you, Mark.
It's amazing standing down here, Nick, how many numbers and stats and stopwatches, Michael, everything going to plan?
Yeah, like Ryan Napoleon looks really good at the moment. He's going to be well under his best time. He had to actually do his best time back in February to qualify for this because he'd never done one before. So this is only his second ever 1500, so he's going very well.
Did you tell him you need to go out early? They were talking about trying to almost break the line and get the other boys almost under the pressure so early, which is exactly what he seems to have done.
Yeah, he just really sort of spoke about, I suppose, the last 29 laps. Like the first lap takes care of itself, and his aim was to try and keep all of his last 29 50s under 30.5, and he's going to be sort of around that mark, so it's very good.
What do you want him thinking about now at this stage of the race? What should he be focusing on there in the water?
Yeah, he's just got to try and hold his straight together. Like as you start to get tired in a race, your efficiency drops off a little bit. He's really got to concentrate on catching early, keeping his elbows up nice and high, keeping his balance, and really saving his legs for the last 100.
How much mental strength comes into it at this stage? He must be starting to hurt, I would imagine.
Oh, he would be hurting, but I think, you know, Ryan trains really hard. We've got a pretty good group over at St Peters, a lot of distance guys in that group, a couple of world champion open water guys, and Ryan's been working with them for the last 2.5 years. So he's used to being in this sort of pain and training pretty regularly.
Good on you, Coach. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Howie. We're looking at Ryan Napoleon, an 18-year-old from St Peters Club in Queensland, St Peters Western. Steph Rice, the most famous pupil there at the moment, but this is all about Ryan Napoleon with less than 150 metres to swim, Nicole.
He looks like he's desperately trying to pick it up. He had a little bit of a blowout in terms of it being 1 minute point, and it was a high point, so that set him off that 02 that he was on. Now he's at 03, 14:03.64. So that was actually under the minute. That was 59.9. He's picking it up.
How close can he go to 15? The crowd, Libby, is going to get right behind him here. 75 metres left to swim.
Yeah, he's done an amazing job. He's really, you know, stepped up to the mark and wants to really sort of, I guess, fill the shoes of Grant Hackett that we have such a big lull.
Well, 15:35 at the Brisbane Senior Metro Champs was one of his only performances in his history of the 1500. Well, it's going to be a big history now because this will be the chosen one.
Will be only one, according to Michael. So here we go. There's only 35 metres left to swim. The countdown. Can he go under 15? Probably not from there. He is digging deep. He is trying to beat the pain barrier. Can he do it? Crowd, some of them on their feet trying to urge him home. He's going to go oh so close to the 15-minute mark. He's just going to miss out. But what a swim from Ryan Napoleon.
6th fastest Australian in history, behind the names of Hackett, Perkins, Stevens and Kowalski.
The General.
Wow. You've nicknamed him already. Well done, Ryan. Rob Hurley in second. He's done a great job at 15:18.
And he's 5 seconds outside the qualifying time, but he's on the team, so he might get a crack at it as well.
And that was a huge PB by Rob Hurley. That was an 11-second PB by him as well. Be nice to do that kind of an improvement, wouldn't it?
Yeah, wouldn't it? But they have so much areas to improve, the starts, the turns, and so much free swim time.
And how much better is Ryan Napoleon going to get with a lot more racing of that 1500 metres? I mean, there'll be races throughout the year that he can get experience in domestically and internationally. He's going to get so good.
Definitely. The great thing about long distance races is you can learn every time, and you do need that experience, and he will just get better with age.
Boy, one of the highlights of the whole meet has saved it till almost last year.
As we look at the Lumix replay, he is just sensational in terms of his progression. Earlier in the year, he was on Australian age group teams, the Junior Pan Packs in Guam, the Junior Commonwealth Games, and now suddenly not only on the Australian team for a relay, which they're star-studded, he's now got an individual spot, 5th fastest Australian in history. I just think this guy could be anything in the 1500.
And he had the second lowest or slowest time going into this race out of the 8 that were competing. But boy, did he turn it on tonight. And here he is with Mark Howard.
Ryan, national champion, the 5th fastest time in Australian history, mate. What does that mean to you?
It's a big shock. It's my second 1500 ever. The first one I did was a couple of months ago, and I didn't think I'd be able to win it, so it's a big shock, yeah.
You're still struggling for breath, as you would be. You went out very hard early. You've knocked off, I think, 34, 35 seconds off your personal best time. Was that the plan, to really push it hard early?
No, I sort of just was going out there to see what everyone else was going to do and swim a bit cagey, I guess, and everyone seemed a bit slow, so I thought I'd just take it out a little bit.
30 laps, mate. At what stage of that race does it really start to hurt? Does it kick in and it really start to almost cook you?
At about 1,000, I was really starting to struggle a little bit, and through my core and in my back, and yeah, it was just burning, and I just thought I'd just be able to hold them off. So
Australia has such a wonderful history. The names Hackett and Perkins and Kowalski. What does it mean to now join these guys in Australian champion? It must mean a lot, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's incredible, really. Like the 400 on the first day of racing was really good, and to be able to finish on another good note is great.
Yeah, mate, you've knocked 34, 35 seconds off your time. How much more have you got up the sleeve? You think you're just almost a novice at this event? There's a massive area for improvement.
Yeah, it feels that way. To only think that only 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I hadn't even done the event, so yeah.
It's an incredible effort, mate. Congratulations on a wonderful swim.
Thanks heaps.
Not going to take long, is it, for another Australian to perform on the world stage with distinction in the men's 1500 metres freestyle.
He's going to have to train a lot harder now, though, Anthony. That's the good news out of this. He's going to have to train harder.
Ryan Napoleon, there he is on top of the Sunrise results sheet, 15:01.99. Hurley second, Pasiala's third, and Christopher Ashwood got up for 4th.